painting the sky. I will be moving this up as I work my way down the painting. It's just the positioning of the camera, but I want you to see me start. Right, I have mixed a very large puddle of cerulean blue in my palette. I have a jar of clean water and I am going to wet the entire area. I've actually already given this a coat because I wanted to make sure that it was completely covered. You might have to tilt it to see in the light. You want to go all the way down. That blue line here at the bottom is actually where I've put masking fluid to make it a bit easier for me to do this wash without worrying about it all going down here. Okay. If you haven't used masking fluid before, I feature it on my special paint effects course. Okay, it just takes a little bit of the stress out of doing this. Right, everywhere is nice and wet. You want it wet so the paint wash will move easily, and of course depending on how warm your room is, the air temperature and the air movement, or depend how quickly it dries. Right, now the moment of truth. I'm taking my mix of blue and I'm putting it on very thin, and I'm going to help it run down the page. It's got a hair, most annoying when that happens. So just work your way down, remembering my creative chums, and I'm sure you've noticed, if not, next time you're out there, have a look. Skies get lighter as they get down to the horizon. So it doesn't matter if you don't get all the way to the bottom. Right, now this is very wet, so I'm just going to keep stroking it, adding a bit more wash and just coming down the page. Okay, just gradually coming down the page. A bit more, because you don't know where your mount or your mat is going to go, so I'm taking it pretty much right up to the top and the edges. One big move, big brush. That was a big puddle, but I probably needed some more. Always mix more paint than you think you need. Always, always, always. Says she, who hasn't mixed enough. A bit more at the top. And if somebody rings on the phone or knocks at the door, they'll just have to wait. Right. Okay. Super. Right, I am not going to touch that now. I'm just going to leave it and see how that dries out. On this one, this was the sketch that I did as a preparation. I messed around and put clouds in, but I didn't really like that when I'd finished it. So I'm just going to leave that. In fact, I'm just going to be very brave and see if I can just add a bit more tint, a bit more pigment, a bit more colour up to the top. Because when we start painting down here, we'll be into colour values, and you don't want the top to look really wishy-washy if down there it's looking really colourful and vivid. Right, so that is it. Leave that to dry. You can probably make adjustments there. In fact, with a smaller brush I can see where there's sort of a gap, so I'm just going to before it dries, see? Before it dries, hope you can see that, yeah. Just tweak down there so you don't get that line. But if you've got a problem around that bit, when it comes to doing your buildings, your trees, there's a bit of mountains in the background there, we can just paint them a little bit higher. So don't worry. But the thing is to mix a lot of colour, wet the area, big brush, and just put it on nice and even. One movement, don't tickle it, one movement like that, and away you go. And I've just blobbed a bit of water there, so we don't want that. That's lovely. Okay, we'll just let that dry.